Imagine a meeting between two of the most revolutionary minds in history. On one side, Buddha, the prince who renounced the throne in search of enlightenment. On the other, Socrates, the philosopher who challenged the foundations of Athens with its courage to think. Today they find themselves in a dialogue beyond time and space. What would happen if these two giants of philosophy debated life's greatest riddles? How would Buddha respond to Socrates' ethical challenges? And how would Socrates respond to Buddha's teachings on karma and freedom from desire? In this special episode, we will not only explore these questions, but also reveal insights that can transform the way you see the world. Are you ready to challenge your own beliefs with the perspectives of these two masters of ancient wisdom? Stay until the end for a debate that could change your life. Before we begin our transcendental dialogue, it is essential to understand the historical context of our two protagonists, who, although separated by geography and centuries, share a lasting impact on philosophy and religion. Buddha, or Siddhartha Gautama, was born into a royal family in present-day Nepal around the 6th century BC. His journey began with the renunciation of palatial comforts in search of answers to human suffering. After years of rigorous meditation and austerity, he achieved enlightenment, becoming the Enlightened One, and spent the rest of his life teaching the middle way to freedom from the cycle of rebirth and suffering. On the other hand, in 5th century BC Greece, Socrates stood out not for writings or monuments, but for his method of dialogue and tireless questioning. He roamed the streets of Athens, engaging in philosophical discussions with citizens of all classes, challenging them to question their preconceived notions and seek truth through reason. His innovative approach to ethics and morality ultimately led to him being sentenced to death, a martyrdom that solidified his influence on society. These two thinkers, although in very different contexts, explored fundamental questions about the nature of reality, ethics, and human existence, questions that continue to resonate to this day.
Socrates, sage of Athens, it is an honor to meet you on this transcendental plane of discussion. His legacy of questioning and seeking truth is a beacon for all of us who seek to more deeply understand the human condition.
And I, Buddha, am equally honored to dialogue with you, whose journey to enlightenment has illuminated the path for millions. Your life and teachings on compassion and wisdom are profound testaments to the potential human rights for growth and peace.
May our exchange today inspire those who listen to us to seek their own answers and to reflect on the virtues that each can cultivate for a fuller life.
I agree, Buddha, and that through our dialogue, we can explore together the depths of ethics, truth, and understanding, shedding new light on ancient questions that still challenge us today.
Socrates, on the Buddhist path, enlightenment is achieved through the deep understanding of the Four Noble Truths. These teach that life is permeated by suffering, that this suffering originates from desire, and that there is a path to its cessation. This path involves the development of ethical virtues, meditation, and practical wisdom, components that intertwine to free the individual from the cycle of birth and suffering, known as samsara.
This is fascinating, Buddha. In Athens, truth is often explored through dialectics, a technique I use to help my interlocutors examine their lives and beliefs. We question everything from nature, from justice, to the essence of courage, seeking a purer understanding of these concepts. I believe that living an examined life leads the soul to its highest state of virtue and wisdom, bringing humans closer to the truth.
Your approach resonates with the Buddhist concept of prajna, or transcendental wisdom, which also seeks deep understanding, but through meditation and direct contemplation of reality. Socrates, as you see the relationship between reason and direct experience in the search for truth. In Buddhism, we emphasize that ultimate truth is not a concept, but a lived experience of reality devoid of any distortion of perception.
Buddha, this is an important distinction. In Greek philosophy, we value reason as the most reliable path to truth, but I recognize that direct experience can also offer valuable insights. Indeed, Some of my contemporaries, such as the Cynics, practice a way of life that emphasizes experience over theoretical speculation. However, we still value dialogue as a means of testing and refining our experiences and perceptions, seeking an understanding that is universally valid and applicable.
Interesting, Socrates. It seems that both Buddhism and Greek philosophy recognize the importance of a holistic approach to achieving truth, which includes both reason and direct experience. This shows us how, despite cultural and temporal distances, our searches for wisdom can converge and offer complementary paths to human understanding. Socrates. In the Buddhist tradition, compassion is not just an emotion, but an active practice and a central pillar of our way of life. It is seen as the ability to feel the pain of others as if it were one's own, and thus act to alleviate universal suffering. This compassion is intrinsically linked to the concept of Karuna, which guides not only our personal actions, but also our vision of justice, which should benefit all living beings indiscriminately.
Buddha. Justice in our Athenian tradition is also concerned with the well-being of others, but it is often contextualized within social and political structures. It is seen as a virtue that organizes both relationships, personal as well as public, ensuring that each person receives what is due to them. However, our discussion of justice also includes an element of dialectical debate about what is due to each person, which can be quite complex in one case, democracy as Athens.
Interesting, Socrates. I see that while justice for you is rooted in laws and social debates, Buddhist compassion transcends human laws, seeking a justice that is grounded in the natural law of karma. Each action has a consequence, and justice, in this sense, is the natural manifestation of those consequences, always aiming for universal harmony and balance. How do you balance these questions of justice with the needs and challenges of the individual?
This is a constant challenge, Buddha. In Greek philosophy, we debate intensely about the intersection between individual and collective justice. We believe that cultivating personal virtue, like justice, leads to actions that benefit the entire community. However, debates about how this justice applies in specific cases can be intense and sometimes divisive.
Your approach shows the complexity of justice within human societies, Socrates. In Buddhism, while we recognize this complexity, we try to simplify the practice of justice through meditation and continuous reflection on our actions and their repercussions, always with the aim of cultivating internal and external peace and harmony. Socrates. In Buddhism, the concept of destiny is intrinsically linked to karma. Past actions determine present conditions, and each choice we make influences our future. Accepting destiny, in this context, is understanding and embrace the laws of karma, which are not seen as a burden, but as an opportunity to cultivate wisdom and compassion, redirecting our path to enlightenment.
Buddha, in the philosophical tradition that I represent, destiny is not perceived as something strictly predetermined by past actions, but as something that can be shaped by reason and virtue. We believe that, although some events are beyond our control, our true destiny is forged by how we respond to those events, by our ability to live according to ethical principles, and by our ongoing search for truth.
That's a powerful insight, Socrates. It seems that for you, destiny is something dynamic and interactive. In Buddhism, we also see the flow of life as something we can influence through our actions. However, we emphasize acceptance of what life brings us as a means of transcending suffering and achieving deeper peace, recognizing that each experience has something to teach us.
Yes, Buddha, and it is fascinating to see how our philosophies, although different in some ways, converge on the idea that wisdom and ethics are essential to navigating destiny. In my view, The challenge that destiny presents to us is an opportunity for growth and self-understanding, a chance to practice virtue and thus positively influence our path.
I agree, Socrates, and it is this continual quest for wisdom and ethical understanding that unites our paths, even though our practices may differ. In the end, both Buddhism and Greek philosophy seek to equip the individual with the tools necessary to live a meaningful and ethical life, regardless of what turns fate may take. Socrates, this dialogue has been truly enriching. I am grateful for the exchange of wisdom and the opportunity to explore together the nuances of life, ethics, and destiny. May the seeds of our encounter continue to blossom in heart and mind of all who seek the truth.
And I thank you, Buddha, for the clarity and depth of your insights. It was a privilege to dialogue with someone so dedicated to the pursuit of enlightenment and human well-being. May our words inspire those who hear us reflect on their own journey in search of wisdom.
Thus, we conclude another episode of Dialogues of Transcendental Minds of Philosophy and Spirituality. Today, Buddha and Socrates guided us through a journey of discovery, debating life, ethics, and destiny in profound depth, rarely explored. If this dialogue between two of the greatest minds in philosophy and spirituality has inspired new perspectives or enlightened your way of thinking, be sure to subscribe to our channel, like this video, and share with someone who deserves this transformative knowledge and would be surprised by the richness extracted from this incredible and unlikely dialogue. Continue with us for the next Dialogues of Transcendental Minds video, where we will explore other epic encounters that challenge our perceptions and expand our understanding. Turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our future transcendental encounters. Thank you for watching and being part of this community of search and discovery. If you've made it this far, comment below with your reflections or leave suggestions for future dialogues. Your participation is crucial for us to continue bringing dialogues that enlighten and transform. See you next time.